Hey Mark, what can you tell me about safe rename?
Safe rename is a safe way to rename a method, a public-facing method, like in an API, or maybe it's in a DLL that other members of your team are using. You don't want to break any code that's using the method, but you want to change its signature in some way. And so safe rename is the way to start that. So here, for example, I've got a method called isNotNull and isNotEmpty. It's not the best name. It would be better if I called it like hasValue, for example.
Sure.
I'm also passing in an authentication code here, which, although it's actually being used inside of here, maybe this is something we're phasing out, for example, or replacing with something different. I don't want to break any code that uses this, but maybe I want to phase this out and not pass in this authentication code. And I definitely want to rename it as an example, or maybe I want to change the return type. All of these things fall into this category of safe rename.
Okay.
So I put the caret at the beginning of the public method. I hit the CodeRush key, and I choose safe rename. And this is what it does for me. It gives me an obsolete tag. So if somebody compiles against the old name, right, which is right here, isNotNull and isNotEmpty. If somebody compiles against that, they're going to get a message that says, use this instead. Let's go ahead and type in a better name, isValid maybe. Okay, so they're going to get this method right here, or this warning in their compile. It also sets the editor browsable state to never, which means the old method, this one, is not going to show up in IntelliSense anymore.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The third thing it does is it actually calls the new method from inside, right? Giving you, a good reason to actually go in and use the new one, because the old one's going to be just slightly slower. Right? Yeah. Just imperceptibly slower, but still, for me as a developer, as a consumer of this, oh yeah, I definitely want to be using the new one.
Mm-hmm.
And now it allows me to totally change this signature. I can reorder parameters. I can get, say, for example, maybe I'm going to get rid of that authentication code. I don't need that anymore. Come in here, remove that unused parameter, right? All the changes I want to make on my brand new method, and without breaking the old at all.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so let's just check ourselves off here. A few things. It's marking the old one, but this sort of new piece of code that represents the old function. It's marking it as obsolete. So anyone compiling against it will see that it's obsolete and think, oh, hang on, maybe I shouldn't be using that. And it's also indicating what the new function is called. Then we've got editor browsable never. So it won't show up in IntelliSense. Somebody who starts to code against this DLL or this piece of functionality won't see the old method in the IntelliSense, won't be aware it exists, and so won't naturally try to use it. You're calling the new method using the old one, which has a little bit of an overhead, but guarantees that at least for the moment it'll still work, so you're not breaking anything at all, and leaves you completely free to change the signature of your new method in almost any way you want.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
That's really
without
useful.
breaking. Yeah, it's really useful. Like I say, if you're in an API kind of world where you are writing code for consumption by people you can't control, right? Outside your team, maybe in the rest of the world, that sort of thing.
That's really useful. Thanks very much, Mark. That is great.